Coming up on DFE News, tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela are on the rise as the Coast Guard seizes a Venezuelan oil tanker. Also, the man accused of shooting Charlie Kirk has his first of likely many days in court. We'll bring you the updates. And think welfare fraud is only happening in Minnesota? Think again. We'll tell you where and how. We've got news for you. Those stories and more right now on DFE News. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on DFE News. News done right. I'm Jeff Kirk. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment so everyone gets to see DFE News. So much is going on. Let's get right to it. In a new development in the escalating tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela, the Coast Guard seized an oil tanker in the Caribbean Sea Wednesday. The tanker, named the Skipper, is known to be tied to illicit oil smuggling from Venezuela and Iran and was operating about 100 miles off the Venezuelan coast. The U.S. Coast Guard, in cooperation with the FBI and Department of Homeland Security, boarded the vessel via helicopter and took control. Attorney General Pam Bondi released more details Wednesday evening, saying the operation was conducted safely and securely and provided video of the seizure, which you're seeing now. The U.S. has put sanctions on Venezuelan oil for years, but this is the first time they've seized a tanker for violating those sanctions. This might be the first time the U.S. has seized a tanker, but with the recent increased pressure on the Maduro regime, it probably won't be the last. Tyler Robinson, the man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk, made his first court appearance Thursday. Robinson was charged with first-degree murder of Charlie Kirk in September. He was placed under heavy police escort to and from the courthouse in Provo, Utah. The judge allowed much of the proceedings to be broadcast, but did call a special closed-door session to discuss evidence and decide what should remain sealed to the public. Even Robinson's family members were not allowed to be present for that. Details of the court appearance are few, but some media outlets report that Robinson didn't appear to be all that bothered by the proceedings and seemed to be relaxed and smiling. We'll be sure to keep you updated with any developments as they become available. The European Union hit social media company X with a fine of $140 million for what it calls deceptive practices in its blue check verification. The EU claims that X's blue check policy undermines the purpose of verification by allowing a blue check to anyone willing to pay for it. They say the platform deceives users because X is not meaningfully verifying who's behind the account. While it was known as Twitter, the platform charged $15,000 for blue check verification, but since the purchase by Elon Musk and rebranding as X, a premium subscription with blue check can be purchased for about $8 a month. Musk responded to the lawsuit by saying, quote, "The EU should be abolished and sovereignty returned to individual countries." Vice President J.D. Vance said the EU is essentially fining X for not engaging in censorship. In response to the fine, Nikita Beer, head of product at X, banned the EU from running ads on the platform. In the week since the controversy began, X has skyrocketed to the most popular social media app in all of Europe. Minnesota has been in the news a lot lately due to billions of dollars in welfare fraud, but don't worry, that's the only place it's happening, right? Wrong. Turns out Maine is also having its share of fraud issues. A whistleblower has come forward to report millions of dollars in fraudulent claims from social services in Maine. Christopher Bernardini worked for health services contractor Gateway Community Services from 2018 to this year. He says Gateway received Medicare funds for services that were never performed. He says the problem got worse and worse before he really started making a stink. That's when it drew the attention of conservative media in the state, and Maine Republicans demanded an investigation. They say several state Democrats of Somali origin are linked to Gateway Services, whose founder and CEO is Abdullahi Ali, a Somali who moved to Maine in 2009 as a refugee. In a recent interview with Kenyan media, Ali bragged about making money in the U.S. and funding weapons, munitions, and supplies for a militia group in Somalia. A Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA, request made by Mainwire Media shows that Gateway Community Services received almost $29 million in payments from MaineCare between 2019 and 2024, including over $4 million last year alone. And for our last story, several first graders in Virginia sprung into action to save their teacher's life when they saw she was in trouble. 23-year-old Madison Swift is a first grade teacher in Colonial Heights, Virginia. Last month, Swift was eating a snack while working with a student when she began to choke. 3 of her students knew exactly what to do.
That's when all 3 boys sprang into action, each one taking a different approach to helping their teacher. Derek went for the emergency call button on the wall, and when the office answered,
they were talking like this. Miss Swift is choking and the office cannot hear, so they start screaming, Miss Swift is choking.
Bryson decided to run out the door to get another teacher.
Because I knew that she was choking and I knew I needed to get another teacher.
Colton, who was right beside Miss Swift,
and then I pat her on the back to get a food out of her choke.
How hard did you have to hit her to get that to happen?
That's so adorable. At the end of the week, Swift awarded each of the boys with a prize, and the school recognized them on social media as well. Great job, boys. Well, that's it for now. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, comment, and engage with us so that YouTube and all the socials push it out to more viewers. Thanks to our friends at crosscurrentdigital.com for sponsoring DFE News. If you'd like to become a DFE sponsor, just click on the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. Thanks for watching DFE News. News done right. See you next time.